Welcome to Highline Excel class number 49. Hey, if you want to download this workbook and follow along, click on my YouTube channel, then click on my college website link, and you can download the workbook Week 9, Business 214. If you're enrolled in the class, go to our Week 9 website. Excuse me. Hey, we're doing finance here, and we got to do some loan comparison. And we have our loans set up, 1 through 7. Each loan has a different down payment, a different annual percentage rate, number of years. So some of them are 30, some are 15. Points. So that's the 1 represents 1% of the loan amount that they'll take as a fee. Oh, there's some extra fees. Now here's the amount that we want to take out a loan, or the price of the item. So the down payment will reduce the loan amount from 330 to something else. We have 12 periods per year, and our balloon payment option is going to be pay $50,000 at the end. So we have our data set up here, and we're going to calculate amount to borrow, monthly payment, actual cash received, adjusted APR, and then payment with balloon. And then we can compare, just in a little spreadsheet here, the different loan options. Let's calculate the amount to borrow equals this. Actually, before we do that, let's name these cells because we're going to use this a lot. I'm going to click there, click up in the name box, and type P, enter. That's for price. And then compounding periods per year, I'm going to click right there and click up in the name box, type C, and enter. Oh, it won't do C because that's column. So C, compounding periods, enter. And finally, I'm going to try this one, B. And so that's a B. And so we can use that when we create our formulas. Amount to borrow equals our price, which is P, times, and then open parentheses, 1 minus, and this will be our down payment. And we need to close parentheses on that, and that will be the amount to borrow. Control Enter, and then double click and send it down. So each one has a different amount. Now we want to calculate our monthly payment equals PMT. We need our rate. Oh, but this is monthly. So we need to take our APR divided by our CP, comma, our NPER. That's going to be our number of years times our CP. That's our, you can see the green down there. Comma, and our present value. The present value is going to be this amount to borrow. And that is a positive because on the moment that we borrow it, it's coming into our wallet. We do not have a balloon payment at the end, and the type for all of these is going to be 0, so we can omit it. Close parentheses. 0 means, for type, means end of the period payment. Control Enter, and then double click and send it down. And the payment is, of course, negative because when we make the payment, it's coming out of our wallet. Now we want to scroll over just a little bit here and calculate the actual cash received. So we're going to say equals and click on the amount borrowed. Now we have our points column. They're going to take 1 means 0.01. So we're actually going to have to divide that by 100, all of these values here. Oh, and there's an extra fee also. So times the amount borrowed times open parentheses 1 minus, and what we really need is 0.1 because 1 minus 0.1 is 0.99, which is the amount that we will receive of this. So because it's set up this way, we're going to click there and divide by 100. Close parentheses. Now, that'll work, but we also have this extra fee, so we have to go minus and get our extra fee. That formula will work all the way down. Control Enter. Double click and send it down. You know, we haven't been checking. We always got to check them. I'm going to click right here. Sure enough, it got it right. Still looking at the right one there. It's got all the relative cell references in the locked one. And then similarly here, all the relative work just fine. Always got to check your spreadsheet when you're building it. Now, adjusted APR. We just did this in our last video, but here we'll do it for all of the different loans. Equals, and we'll use the rate function. The rate function, it says what's our NPER. We're going to have to scroll over and get our years. And that is times our CP, which is our number of compounding periods right there, comma, the payment. Well, we just calculated our payment, and it is negative. That's from our point of view coming out of our wallet. Comma, the present value is going to be actual cash received. So I can't really get to this. Formatting here is not allowing me to click on J11. So I could just type it, J11. And I can see that the brown got around it. Comma, and let's see, we don't have a future value balloon payment. We don't have, we don't need to put that in because it's 0. And guess, we don't need to put that in if it was not getting the right answer because if the iterations were too low. We could put a guess in there, but we do not need one. Close parentheses and Control Enter. But wait a second. Just like in our last video, rate, we put a total number of months and a payment, which was a monthly payment. So that means rate, when we Control Enter, will give us a monthly rate. And we need to immediately multiply that either before or after times our CP. And then Control Enter, and then double click and send it down. So we have our adjusted rates. I'm going to come to the end and look. Sure enough, it got all of those. We have one last balloon payment calculation. So I'm going to Control Enter and then come up here. OK, I'm actually just going to go steal this one. It's exactly the same as this. Copy. I'm copying it this way, in essence, scooping it out of the formula because those relative references would change if I just copied it here and pasted it here. Now I'm going to come over here, put it in edit mode, F2, Control V. And we need one more argument, as we saw in our earlier video. For our last argument we entered was present value, but we have to put comma. And our future value is the balloon payment. That's the amount that this loan is still worth on the last day, which is also the amount we have to pay lump sum. So we type B because we named that. And then Control Enter, double click and send it down. So we have our loan analysis here. We can then compare. But why don't we add some conditional formatting? I would like to highlight the lowest monthly payment, have the whole row highlighted, and in a different color, the lowest adjusted APR. So I'm going to highlight this whole range. And when you're doing conditional formatting, the first cell you click in when you drag, that's the active cell. You can see I have green here for all the formula cells. And it's hard to see the active cell, but you got to be aware of that because you got to build the formula from that cell's point of view. Now, conditional formatting, home, styles, conditional formatting. In earlier versions, it's format menu, conditional formatting. The keyboard shortcut that works in all versions is Alt-O-D. Oh, I didn't want that. I'm going to delete that one. Now let's think about this. Oh, well, let's go new rule. And then formula right there. In earlier versions, you have to click in the first text box and point to formula is. But there's our formula. Let's think about this, though. We want the whole row highlighted when we find the lowest monthly payment. But these numbers are negative. If we do min, it would give us the biggest monthly payment because I don't know which eyeing this. Maybe this is the biggest one. If we did min, it would say, oh, yeah, that's the lowest. But really, since these are negative and we want the lowest, we have to use the max. So I'm going to build the formula from this cell's point of view. You actually have to click on this cell and then lock it. using the F4 key, $ in front of the I, because for this whole row, all these cells, remember it's starting here, but it's copying across the columns, and it needs to be locked here. That has to be equal to the max. And I'm going to highlight this whole thing, and that's locked in all directions. Close parentheses. Now I'm going to format this, fill that color, and then font, I'm going to do a white. Click OK. Click OK, click OK, and sure enough, it gives us the minimum payment, which for us, because it's negative, is maximum. Now with the active cell still there, Alt-OD, and I'm going to add a new rule. I'm going to click not in the payment column, but the APR. Lock it with the column reference equals, and this time we can use min, because we really do want the smallest. These are positive numbers, even though they're numbers less than 1. Close parentheses. Format. Fill, I'm going to do the dark blue and then a light colored font like white. Click OK, click OK. So there's our two formulas. Click OK. And sure enough, now we can see, just with a quick glance of the eye, that one's got the lowest monthly payment. This one's got the lowest APR. We can scroll over and compare some of the numbers. Oh, that's a 30-year. This is a 15-year. We have a down payment of 15%, a down payment here of 15%. So we would then compare all of these numbers with these numbers here, and then make our conclusion. But there it is. Excel spreadsheet made our loan comparison easy. All right, we'll see you next video.